Hey y'all, welcome
Um,
to Shade in the City. I'm your girl Treese,
it's Nels.
and today, y'all, we are here to give y'all a little Christmas present, a little early Christmas present, and we are here to do our recap of the Later Daters. Okay, if y'all have not heard about this is season one. It is only about 8 episodes, but I told Nails, Nails, this would be a
So,
great show. Right. I said this would be a great show for us to watch. I think, and for y'all over the Christmas season, as y'all chilling, not doing much, need to binge watch through things. This was actually really good. I'm not sure who recommended this. I don't know if it was Demarcus or somebody else, but this was actually really good. I enjoy seeing this.
and and I don't know if you saw what I wrote you.
Oh, but Michelle
Michelle
Obama
Obama
is the
is the
executive
EP.
producer. You did your big one with this, Michelle. You went high, girl. You
Hey,
went high.
I said,
Okay.
okay, Michelle.
So and yes, y'all would be surprised. I said, how interesting can seeing these older people date be? But when I tell y'all, it was better than some of these other shows that we recap. Okay. So it was definitely worth the watch. I enjoyed it. And hopefully y'all will too. Like I said, it's on Netflix. It's one of the top rated ones. It's in the top 10, I'm sure. So yeah, y'all go do that over this holiday season. But it is gonna be a couple spoilers. So if you haven't watched yet and you want to, and then come back for the replay, please do so. But y'all, we're about to get into it and we're about to get shady. Oh, damn string y'all for messing with my buttons. Moving things right. So we're gonna start off. Hold on, I'm gonna put us back in our little bubbles, so we can try to see everybody. Okay. So first, we're gonna start off with Anise up here. Up here, if y'all see her at the top, the beautiful black woman, sipping on her tea or her drink. Now, Anise is 62. Okay, she's been married 3 times, and she's been single for almost 20 years. You know what's so crazy? I
What?
just had this realization when I'm reading back my notes because through this whole process, and I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but through this whole process, she always talks about that one husband. And it almost made me forget that she was married 2 other times after that. No, because you know what I'm saying? Like not saying that like that might have been her twin flame, that might have
I
been the love of her life.
feel like Pam was kind of the same way. I mean, kind of because she did talk about the first husband with the in the band, but the
Right.
second husband was the one that was just amazing. And I think was he the one that was diagnosed? I think.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you heard how the first husband went out, I understand where she's coming from. So now we see, I believe, what you
It,
say?
he was a rock star. I don't know when it actually did surprise me when she said it.
It just made me think of rock star lifestyle might not make it.
Like,
10 o'clock in the morning, wake up drinking. Okay. Um, so no, I really did enjoy Anissa's. She's on here with her daughter. I believe her name, don't get me wrong, because they never pronounce it. Is it Dewana? Dewayna?
no, I definitely
I
don't have.
didn't know how to properly pronounce it. So forgive me, Dewayna, if you ever see this, or Dewana, however it's pronounced.
Oh yeah, I
But
just have
beautiful.
her daughter. That's it.
Right, but beautiful girl. So she's helping her along this journey to navigate back into the dating game. And Anise says that her thing is she's hoping to make it to at least a third date because apparently she just has trouble. She's very, I don't want to say judgmental, but she's quick to cut nigga off. Okay, and I can understand. I entertain you for a little bit, but it ain't gonna be too much entertaining for. I'm like, okay, I can't even act like or fake
It
like I
don't even
like
sound
you.
like she entertains it. She said that they don't even get to like a second date.
Yeah, y'all. And then we meet good old Susanna right here in the middle, right? With the gray hair, beautiful gray hair, big.
Oh, Suzanne.
Yeah, Suzanne, Dolly Parton,
I
beautiful
like
gray
her.
hair. I love Suzanne. I told Nails,
And
I
I
said,
love her accent. I love
I
that
said,
she knows Matthew McConaughey.
I knew you would like that.
I said, oh, Suzanne.
It was. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was like, if she bring up this man's name one more time, but
Look, I was just like, look, girl, I was like, what? He got a podcast? Or was she just listening to him on a podcast? I was like, come on, give me the tea.
Jesus help us. Anyway, so Suzanne is 63, y'all. She's a fiery 63. And her daughter Allison is there with her, helping her navigate things. She's optimistic about finding a man, but she doesn't want no pot bellies, and she's looking for a silver fox. And I said,
girl, we all
and look, but it was so funny because when I think about as we get into her options and choices, I'm so
who she said was a silver fox.
Right.
Look, I was like, but I think our silver foxes are different because when she said it, she was like, oh, he's a silver fox. I said, is he?
Is he?
But then, I mean, he is. And all of it was silver. But
right.
Silver foxes, you can see the silver from a mile away because it's against that chocolate skin.
I was gonna say because that Willie boy, but we'll get into Willie.
Willie, now that is a silver fox.
We'll get it. I ain't gonna hold you. Even Felton, even though I ain't like his attitude too much, he's a little too standoffish and reserved for me. But even Felton wasn't a bad looking guy.
He reminds me of somebody. I can't think of.
I thought the same thing. I couldn't put it, and I was like, I don't know why I can't see it for you because you are handsome. But I was like, he reminds me of somebody.
I couldn't even see him as handsome because I know he.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But I just can't think of who. But he reminds me of somebody.
I understand. So look, we'll probably figure it out by the end of this review. So the last time she dated, there were no cell phones, and people basically had to put in a little more effort. And I think honestly, this is the beautiful part about this show is you do see people where these things didn't exist, where emojis and eggplants and things like that didn't exist for them, and so it is a whole new world. And
was it her? She said, was it her or Pam? It was like, what is it, a pickle?
Right.
What the right emoji was?
Bless their heart. And I was just like, yeah, they definitely need some help before they get out here and just jump out here online, because they definitely will get taken advantage of by. And we'll get there because I got a lot of thoughts on these people. Okay. Then I'll let Nels get into Nate because I don't like him, but I'm gonna tell y'all up front, I don't.
Nate, he's 56. He ain't my type, but he's not bad.
This is Nate over here above Nels' head, brushing his beard.
Like I said, he's not my cup of tea, but he's not a bad.
Apparently, everybody like him because he got dimples.
And I felt like you couldn't really see him behind the beard. Because somebody said it was Michelle. She was talking about his dimples, and I was like, but where?
Right.
So he has 2 daughters, and was married for 16 years. He said he wants an educated, curvy woman with his OCD ass. Now, this is OCD, Treese.
Mm-hmm.
This is OCD. When you put something down in one spot, person move it aggravates you to your soul. It needs to be in its home, in its place.
Oh, no, I'm the same way.
No, you're not.
I'm very much as you go up. I bet you if you ask the person upstairs right now.
OCD means like everything needs to be completely like it can't move an inch.
No, I think he wants a museum. See, I think that yes,
That's exactly. That's OCD. You want a museum. That's exactly OCD. You want a museum. You don't.
Yeah, I just want somebody to put things back. And if you don't,
most people that are OCD, they want their homes to look like nobody lives there.
And that's what his home looked like.
Exactly. So apparently, he's cool with the mother of his children. He said that they met at A&M, dated for 3 weeks, and got her pregnant.
Jackie.
Yes, Miss Jackie. And it's so funny. I know I'm the one that's constantly like, I don't do exes. I don't do none of that. But she actually seems genuinely supportive of him finding someone.
She seemed supportive, but he seemed like, I don't know. And we'll get there. But towards the end, it got me thinking that he thinking he gonna spend the block. Jackie may not realize it yet, but there's a reason why he keeps you around. Why you could just come in or walk in and pop in, whatever you do.
Open his fridge and
Yeah, no, that I
take
don't get me wrong. I do think that it is beautiful. So here's the thing, y'all, and we'll get deeper into it as we get into later episodes. But the thing about Nate and Jackie's relationship is that I've always been told, or I've always read, that when you are trying to open yourself up, um, you have to do things in your everyday life to kind of let the universe know that this is what I'm trying to welcome into my life. And like prime example, one example is if you the whole closet is your clothes, how can you make space for someone else? There is no space. You're basically letting the universe know that you don't have space for anyone else. So that's kind of how I felt with that. Like I don't know, he kind of gets all that with her without maybe the intimacy part of it or the physical part of it, but he gets like the friendship,
companionship.
the companionship. That's what it gave me. So how would a woman on the outside coming into the situation feel comfortable when you have this person in your life? That's the only thing for me that would have made me uncomfortable.
What's crazy to me is he had 2 marriages. Was it 2 marriages after this?
No, he had one marriage
and 1 relationship. I know it was 2 relationships.
Yeah.
So 1 relationship and 1 marriage. Oh yeah.
It makes me wonder how they
Beyonce and got pregnant by somebody else.
Yes.
And then the other one was a wife.
Yes. And it makes me wonder why him and the wife broke up and if they still had the same relationship.
He said it was trust issues. And actually it did make me think about if it had anything to do with
Jackie. Right.
They super cool. They super close. I mean, he could probably even lie and say it was his sister and people would believe him.
Believe it, right.
They are just that like quirky and close, but that is the type of mess that'll happen up under your nose because you're like, oh, it's just Jackie.
Right, it's just Jackie. Yeah, nah. And just the way that she likes popping up. So can you imagine why you weren't home or why you're at work and she just like popping up on him? It's just too comfortable for my liking. Y'all can disagree in the comments. Let me know your thoughts for those that, might be a little bit older, our viewers range.
What got me was the discrepancy about how the baby came about. So she said she was 23 and wanted a baby by 24. Okay. And she said, they went out, basically neither one of them wanted a relationship. Okay. They kicked it. She got pregnant. He said, He said, the truth is she lied to me and told me that she was on birth control.
And she said no. And it's so funny because I was having this conversation with somebody that's in their 50s. And this is before we watched the show. And she was talking about the rhythm method. And I said,
I know what they said.
I think talking about the rhythm method. I said,
I meant to Google that.
But apparently she said no, that was a thing. She was like, that was before we had, y'all got apps and trackers to know when you ovulate and all that other stuff. She said, no, that's what they used to use to track to make sure they did. It was the rhythm method.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I guess it's like tracking your ovulation kind of.
But like the rhythm of what?
Y'all, I don't know. Please drop in the comments for those that are a little bit older and help us out. Because yes, us 30s we have no idea what the rhythm method is. We didn't know. We know the pull-out method. We know that, but we don't know what the rhythm method is.
But what she's saying is the rhythm method is to get pregnant. Like it's to
no, it's to like so you won't. So like where you are, you know what I mean, in your cycle is what I
to or not. Depending on what you choose. Depending on how you decide.
Right.
To use it.
Very valid points. So then y'all, we meet I'm going back to our circles. We meet Logan down here that's beneath me. Little cute girl. She comes to visit Susan. She's a dating coach, or Suzanne, I'm sorry.
I'm about to say she went from Susanna to
Susan. I'm sorry. So Suzanne, she's apparently the dating coach. She's there to root them on. Now we learned Suzanne is actually an optometrist. Her husband, Chris, passed away unexpectedly, and so now she
I
decided
think
to
from
go back.
a work accident, right? Was it
Who?
him that
Suzanne?
was a work accident?
No, that was Anissa's husband.
Mm.
So she's looking for a Matthew McConaughey type, as Neil said.
Woo,
So look,
you ain't the only one, girl. You ain't the only one.
okay, you might get Matthew McConaughey in that one movie. I don't know if you want him looking like that.
What movie?
What's the one?
The cowboy.
Yeah.
Okay, not that one.
Yeah, right. So Logan encourages her to, go into dates, go into her dates speaking as friends. So she goes on her first date with Frank, which we see above me. And we see her,
I
laugh and
like
chuckle.
Frank.
I liked Frank too. When I tell y'all, I really would be Suzanne. I'm gonna sit there, laugh, and have my wine, laugh and kiki at your jokes, and I might not even like you for real, but we're gonna have a good old time while we there. Okay?
I think I'm more like a niece.
Yes, I definitely would.
The quick yes.
So anyway, Frank is 63. He's a divorced attorney. He has 2 kids. He's been single for 8 years. He does present her with flowers, and she likes his looks, but think he's a little short. She tries to lead with her Matthew McConaughey conversations, which in my opinion seem to fall a little flat. He explains the meaning behind all the roses that he got her, which I thought was cute. It was like red for this and then pink for this.
Date, for the second
Yeah.
date. Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was super cute. She tried, oh, I said that. And then he talks about his work. She goes into losing her husband and how, dating at their age isn't easy. He talks about his work history, and she seems to be able to keep up with the conversation because I guess they know the same people, kind of not running the same circles, but they know of the same folks. So, they can relate.
I love her toast.
You loved her what?
Her toast.
Oh,
the one that
her daddy.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to me. May we never disagree. And if we do, hold on.
F you.
If we do, no, the hell with you.
That's basically what I got.
It's a hell with you and cheers to me.
I like mine better. F you then. So then, basically, we learned that he is, he's a St. Patrick's baby. So he's a Pisces. Y'all know I was going to pick that up. Okay. So he's a Pisces. She's a Gemini. I said, Jesus Christ, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. But Frank says that he's really into Suzanne.
Does anybody work with Gemini? What's a good match for Gemini?
Another Gemini.
Really? Really?
Because they're twins.
So that's like saying Pisces and Pisces go together.
No, not necessarily. Again, that fish could be a different fish. Okay.
So can that Gemini. I would have never thought that's a good match for each other.
Yeah. Most Geminis go very well with other Geminis.
I think, or is that with Leo? One of them are good with Cancers.
I think they go well with Cancers too.
And that makes no sense to me either, but
I don't understand it either. So anyway, so Frank says that he's really into Suzanne. He talks about wanting to go to Charleston with her. So he's already inviting himself places because apparently she got 2 houses. Let me just tell you, Suzanne is living real nice. Her husband did not.
And her too. She's an optometrist.
Oh, that's true.
Right too.
She gives me that she's old money.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband has some good money.
Her house
and now she just sitting back, and the fact that she still want to work because it gets me that she doesn't have to. But
she retired and then she went back doing part-time.
And it's so funny. I was having this conversation with a group of older folks, like in their 60s and 70s, and that was one of the conversations that came up. Is that apparently, and y'all can weigh in the comments, those that are a little bit older, but apparently, I guess I would think once I'm done working, because I'm still working because I got to, but I would think once I'm done working, I'm done. But a lot of people say that like they lose their identity when they can no longer work. Your kids are gone. Like it makes you who you are. So once they can no longer report to that place or do what they do, if they're not like active and doing pickleball or joining some club or doing whatever, they kind of get lost.
I'll do some pickleball. I'll do some gardening.
I'll be traveling.
I'll learn how to crochet.
Right. But I ain't going back to no work.
going back to that place.
Me either. But one of the turnoffs for Suzanne is that she doesn't like the fact that he has a younger child. She says she doesn't want to deal with a man that was still raising children. Now, this is when I was like, okay, y'all, I get it. We're of a certain age. You know what you want. But I will say, and again, y'all drop down in the comments, I felt like a lot of these older people were very much like, I ain't gonna say set in their
All
ways.
of these, they check all these boxes, but this one, no, yeah, it's a no for me.
No. And
That's
I just thought that was crazy.
It's like they check majority of these boxes.
Right. Like we're willing to work with people, but they don't even seem like they willing to work.
They like all these boxes are checked, but this one right here, no. I'm gonna find someone who checks all my boxes. And see, for us, I guess that means like perfection to us.
Right.
There's no such thing as perfection, but maybe we doing it wrong.
And
they've been dating a long time. Maybe we doing it wrong.
Right. But in my eyes, I would think as you get older, I'm not saying you lower your expectations, but you have less expectations because you've had your kids, you've probably been married at this point. And at this point, it's like I literally am with you because we have a good time. It's companionship. We can we've already built ourselves up. Most people at that age.
She's saying I need a companion that ain't home taking care of their baby.
I guess I hear you. He wants to know if they're gonna go out again. And
it's a hell no.
And she said she don't know. She don't know, but he's a little upset because he didn't get the number. And I like I said, I liked Frank, so I was a little upset with Suzanne as well.
It's crazy that I like the fact that he kind of like Facebook stalked her to find out, to get in contact with her. I like the fact he did a little research, hunted her down, like do some footwork for this.
Look, he put in effort. Effort.
You know how I feel about that. I liked it. He wasn't like, oh, well, I don't got her number. So he was like, I'm going to find her. And she was not with it. I was like, Look, I ain't going to lie. Even if I wasn't with it, just him doing that, I'd be like, well, you know what?
Right.
You know what? Maybe I shouldn't, because persistence has gotten me before. Okay.
That's how they get you. I'll try again.
Oh my goodness. So Logan comes to pay her a visit. You know, she starts giving her history. She tells her that she married her high school sweetheart. They were married for 11 years before he had a job accident and, you know, sadly passed away. She said that they made plans for her to go back to school when her daughter turned 5, but he passed when she was 2. So
we're talking about her niece, y'all, just so if y'all don't know.
Oh, did I not say that? So, you know, she said it was super hard, but she still did it, okay? And if it wasn't for her children, she would have curled up in a corner. I believe you, girl. But when she does face him again, she wants to be able to tell him she did it. Yo, let me tell you something. I was like, oh my God. This is so cute. Oh my God. I was like, I'm sitting here working, trying to listen to this. I can't be all in my feelings right now.
You are so funny.
Now, so she goes on her first date. He did at least bring her flowers.
George, he's 60. He's divorced twice. He's been single. He's been single 7 years, and he has 1 child that he knows of.
He wasn't important. He ain't Willie.
No, he was, because I'm not even gonna hold you. If that would have been my first date, and this is from a matchmaker, like somebody that's supposed to be somebody that went through this, looked at our personalities, and they decided this was it.
You're fired.
I wouldn't have went on shit else if I was a niece. I wouldn't have went on shit else.
You see, the one she's with wasn't picked by
right.
So yeah, it got awkward real fast when he asked, basically if all her kids was by one daddy. She was like,
well, she asked him, she was like, oh, how many kids do you have? He said 1 that I know of, which obviously is a red flag to any woman, because
but then he kept on saying little stuff under his breath too. It was like weird, like talking about his bed ain't never empty or something like that. I'm like, sir,
he said that I love when he said he don't live in Atlanta, he F's around in Atlanta.
I didn't like anything he said.
No, but I'm just saying, I was like, oh, at least you're telling the truth who you are.
Like, who's supposed to like that? Why is that supposed to make me like you? That's gonna make me. First of all, it's screaming diseases to me.
Mm.
Why? No. Anyways, then he really messed up when he basically told her, you know, he like his girl's a little ghetto and can see it in her.
He said
Basically
it's in your heart.
talking about, oh, we just got to get you a blonde wig. So she's like, what? A blonde wig makes you ghetto? Yeah, she was like, yeah, my Uber's outside. I gotta go.
I applaud her. I really do applaud her for leaving. I would have been sitting there uncomfortable for so long.
I would have left. I'd have left. And no, I don't want to hear shit else you got to say. I don't hear nothing else you got to say. Then she's telling her daughter about how it went from sugar to shit. It wasn't sugar for very long at all. And her daughter was like, you know, basically, you know, it did seem a little cringe, but she was definitely turned off by the fact that he said, you know, ghetto girls with blonde wigs. And apparently she got a lot of blonde wigs. I think she was wearing one at the time, wasn't she? She was like, you know, I don't play by my hair. Okay.
That
So
hair looked good. That hair was laid.
yeah, she said RIP to that man. It's a no.
Well, we're kind of rolling over into kind of episode 2. I'm going to close out episode 1 with Nate's date. And then, yeah, as Nell says, Anise, episode 2, rolls in, tells her daughter what happened, fills her in. That's the only thing. Huh?
Is that in episode 2?
Yeah, that is an episode 2.
Yeah,
but it makes sense because the way that they did it, they would carry over episodes from episode 1, so you had no choice. But as I'm reading my notes, I'm like, okay, she went into episode 2. So anyway, so before we head over there, Nate is linked up with Latricia. Okay, she's 56. Y'all know I had an issue. She was cute, but I don't like nobody. I mean, well, you know what? At least if it's somebody that cute that got my name.
She was super cute, and she was Jamaican. She had no accent, but she was. I liked the Latricia. She's talking about she too churchy for him. So you need.
Well, let's get to the basis of your statement. Why wouldn't you like someone named Latricia? I mean, come on, come on, let's get it together.
I like Mercedes, but there are people named Mercedes that don't look like Mercedes.
You're stupid.
I mean, a name is just a name.
So I actually like Latricia for him, but I could see, in my opinion, out the gate, she wasn't here for Nate's foolishness. So Latricia's never been married. She ain't got no kids, but she's a senior IT professional, so we know she got some bread. That's all we need to know. They both have military backgrounds. She notices and likes his dimples, which apparently is a common thing. Like, oh, he got dimples. Okay. So they connect as they pray over the food. And
these things.
Huh?
I didn't see these things.
I didn't either. And I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't like this because when I first watched the scene, and y'all could tell by my notes, y'all know how I get excited about a man that love God, right? So I definitely would have been Latricia, like, and you pray. Oh, yes, that would have been me. That don't mean we got to go to church every Sunday. And I feel a way that he didn't gauge, because I feel like I'm more spiritual as well. Mm-hmm. But yes, if a man said to me, can we pray over our food or can we pray together? I would absolutely be like, yes, that's so sexy to me. So that you have some sense of spirituality. So I think that was
the fact that it was like, oh, but you have too much, and you're the one that brought
it to the table. Yeah, I ain't even gonna hold you. That's when I was like, oh, Nate, you're weird. It's you. It ain't them. And we're gonna get into it. It's him. It ain't them. It's him. So I don't want to say it is him.
And he assumes a lot. Not even with just her, because he just assumed, okay, she goes to church every Sunday, she's gonna want me to go.
Right.
You could have asked, but this is not the only situation where he just assumed that. Yeah,
and to his point, I mean, or as we know, we've done these shows, there is editing. Maybe she said something that didn't make air that we didn't see that made him believe she was really deep into church, but there was nothing that we saw that made us believe she was that deep. And if she is, that's cool. I just didn't like how he assumed that. So basically, she likes the fact that he doesn't want to be out in the club until she finds out why he can't be out in the club. She talks about loving to be active and be in the outdoors, and then he starts to talk about his injury because he wants to be vulnerable, as Logan advised him to do. And Latricia thinks that the date went very well, and this gives her hope that she can find somebody. And Nate says he likes her, but the religion, as Nell said, um was too much for him, and he's looking to date someone who can check all his boxes. And I ain't gonna hold you, Nate gives me the vibe he's been by himself for too long, or he's dealt with someone that has adhered to his crazy um ways and order and whatever the case may be. Because we'll get it, the way he talked to Michelle, I don't like this man, but he gives me the vibe he's really set in his ways. He's not about growth. He's not really about change. And this is who he gonna be. And either you going, what do we always say? I always tell you, when they get older, it's either my way or the highway. And he absolutely gives that he's not changing for you. So either you will. Oh, he made me so mad. Oh, wait till we get into it, y'all. He made me so mad. All right. You can talk about well, we talked about how Suzanne don't want to mess with Frank because he got younger kids. Nate sits down and talks to Jackie about his date. And lets us know that and Jackie keeps interrupting. Nate tells her that she checks the boxes, but it's Latricia's enthusiasm and religion that raised the red flag, and he said he would be a C&E Christian, which obviously we know is Christian New Year's and Easter. Then you can go into Suzanne on her first date with Avery. So I didn't think Avery was all that. I think he was a little overrated.
Well, she thought he was very handsome.
He gives me Orange Man.
And
no, I just mean like he sat in the tanning booth a little too long, or he put on. Yeah, that's what I mean. He gives me that vibe. Like but he's not.
You can't just be calling people Orange Man out here. And
okay, I'm sorry.
It just mean the tanning booth. It don't mean that no more.
Oh, okay. My bad.
So yeah, she thought he was handsome, but she's like, where the hell are my roses?
Okay. First mistake, Avery.
I feel you, Suzanne.
Avery's 59 and been single for 10 years and got 3 kids. He is
a financial advisor, but majored in English, and he don't know how the hell that even happened. And coming to find out, she knows his brother because the brother and the husband work together. I hear this all the time about how Atlanta is so big, but really it's so small.
I can tell you that would have been I guess it could be a full circle moment, but that's too close for comfort for me. I don't know how long her husband been passed away, but that's a little too close for comfort for me.
She ain't Pam, child. She got things that reminds her of her husband, but she's not stuck in the past. All right.
Okay.
Now there was a disconnect, with the teams that they liked. Apparently, this is a huge, huge thing for Suzanne. You gotta like her.
She says it's a deal breaker.
Latrice might understand this more than me, but
no, I would never write anybody off because they support a team. Hello, I'm with a Jets fan. If that was the case, that would never work. No. And I mean, he could say the same about me. I'm a Giants fan. I would never write up. Now, will we have a lot of rivalries going on as we do? Of course, but I'm not. It's not that serious to me. But I will say that my mama's husband, he's a Bama fan, and apparently college is that. I don't know if it's more serious than professional football. And the team, just what's the word that I'm looking for? Loyalty. But I think it is because I was sitting there and I'm skipping ahead, but when they went to that game, I said, Patrick would never. He don't care who my mama like. He would never. Bama is like, they're true fans. And so even though I didn't understand, like I wouldn't do it, I understand where she's coming from because those college folks be real. And y'all can disagree with me in the comments or tell me, agree, disagree, whatever. But I just feel like with college, it's a little bit more intense because there's no way I'm writing somebody off because they like a certain team.
Mhm. Well, they did connect on the fact that they both like Matthew McConaughey. I mean, who doesn't? He's just a fine Texan, okay?
But we ain't gotta. I don't know. As a man, I would feel a way that you keep bringing up this man that don't look nothing like me, and I don't look nothing like him, and you keep bringing up this man on our first date.
You got something to aspire to.
I guess.
Aspire to be like Matthew McConaughey, look like Matthew McConaughey, sound like Matthew McConaughey. Aspire.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Aspiration. Okay.
Exactly. Now he's already asking about a second date. Okay. And she basically told him, don't call me, I'll call you. Okay. So when the date was over, her daughter comes to pick her up. She said that he would definitely be interested in another date. Okay. But the man forgot her number. But this, he didn't do all the legwork. He got it from production. He was smart about it.
He said, I'm a little bit younger. I work smarter. And he got younger kids. They keep him hip. He said, I work smarter, not harder. I ain't like you old motherfuckers.
He said, I ain't need to go on
right
production. Okay.
All right. Then we meet good old Pam. Where is Pam? Pam is down here on the right of me. Well,
poor Pam.
Pam, can I tell y'all, I liked Pam. I did.
I liked her too. There just ain't no hope for her.
It does. I give you that. I give you that. So Pam, and this is what I like about Pam, y'all. Pam is 70. Okay. And she's still out here mowing the lawn, doing it. Can I tell y'all, I would be paying somebody to do all this at my good age, but I guess that's how she stay fit, tight and right, or whatever. She's been married twice. She's been single for 15 years. She lives with her granddaughter Zoe, or Zoe lived with her rather. She's had custody of her since she was in the 5th or 6th grade. She says she met her ex-husband, quit her job, and moved to England. This is the rock star, her first husband. And she was disowned by her family. And then she had her son a year later, which I imagine is Zoe's dad. Logan goes to visit Pam and realizes that she got a lot going on. Okay. She says Pam's house is a shrine to the past. She admits that she's doing this for Zoe, but also for herself because the dogs are starting to talk back. I feel like that's something I would say. Be like, which I've been in this house so long. These dogs are talking to me. So she is looking for companionship, is what I'm getting. Logan realizes Pam wants certain things, but her life isn't set up for that, as I think I spoke to y'all about it earlier. So she tries to encourage her not to talk about her past as much and not to tell any ghost stories. Pam says that she hasn't talked to a man with teeth in so long. And so this is going to be very new and different for her. And so then we see her go on her first date with Robert, who's 65. He's been divorced twice. He's been single for 16 years and has one kid. He's apparently a sound mixer. Now, first of all, Robert wasn't giving me any type of vibes anyway, but Robert gave her the business, okay? So they talked about her work history. And here's my thing. I think it's okay to vent. Like, there are days, we get up here before we record or do whatever, and I lay it all out on the table for Nels about my job or whatever is going through. But I don't think I would do that on a first date. Not only do you just sound like a very disgruntled employee, but I'm just getting to know you. And not to mention, you're literally just talking about yourself.
It wasn't, I mean, she wasn't just venting though. Also, she was giving these random facts. She was just kind of like all over the place. She was like just talking a lot.
Right. So Robert is trying to go into his career as a sound mixer, and she expresses her interest, but seems like, she's like Nell said, she's not letting him get a word in. So Robert asked her what she's looking for, and she gets into how both her husbands are dead now. And so Robert said that he asked her a lot of questions and she hasn't asked him anything. And he finally tells her that she knows nothing about him, and because she just talks about herself.
Did you see she looked kind of like aggravated by that?
Yeah.
But then she still went back to talking about herself. I said, oh my God. I love
Well,
when
you know what I get? I think she felt like, and this is why I say I think that, and this is terrible to say because you should. This is why I say these older people, it really cracked me up. Because I guess it would be similar to if we went on a blind date and off jump, if I'm not physically attracted to you, it's probably going to be really hard. And then you say something like, "You're not letting me talk about me." Well, honestly, I'm really not into you. That I don't, and I probably don't think you're that interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna keep talking about me
but
until
you
we get.
don't know if I'm that interesting.
But
If I
that's what I'm saying about these older folks. We're again a younger generation. We're gonna be like, well, you don't know until you talk to them, until you consider. But I think that she was just like, she walked in like, nope, don't really see it for. I think she decided that in her mind, and then was like, but I'm gonna sit at this bar and have these drinks. That's why I said I can enjoy her because, and I'm gonna just talk you to death because I would have done it.
it was a lot for me, and I was just a viewer. Nate and Anise got hooked up for a second date, both of their second date. He did share his disability with her, and I think it made her feel pretty it made him feel pretty comfortable about it.
Right.
Um,
Can I be honest with you though? And this
um
is not y'all. I'm not trying to sound insensitive, but being if I was a niece and I know I'm very physically active, and it seems like a lot of the women that he went out with, as bad as I feel for your situation and your circumstance, that would probably be one of those where yeah, it just we can be really good. We can be friends.
well, that's the thing. This is why he doesn't share it. And remember, Logan told him to share something vulnerable that he wouldn't normally share.
Well, yeah, but that's
He
I
said
mean, it's
that
kind of
he
like a
really,
Brian situation, and I hate to compare it to that, but it's like in my eyes, like a Brian situation.
well,
Like,
Brian doesn't need to share it.
right, he doesn't need to share it, but you can like you don't if he tells you no, I can. And we're talking about Brian from 90 Day Fiance. Sorry, y'all, we're crossing shows. But if he was upfront and told you, I'm gonna need help, I can't really do all these things by myself. How many people would actually sign up for that? So you're getting people under false pretenses, and not saying that that's what Nate's doing, but I appreciate his honesty. But you also have to respect when I say that's not gonna work for me because of what I require.
And I think that he's gotten that. That's why he
Right.
doesn't want to say it.
Right.
Because he said basically, he gets shut down so quickly by women when he does say that, he's not able to do certain activities, and he shuts it down when they say, oh, I don't know, whatever activity that they like to do. If he can't do it, he shuts it down because he automatically assumes that you're going to want to do that with me now versus, like she said, versus doing it with your friends or whatever. Regardless, she is, I mean, she said the date is going well. It's, a plus from being called ghetto. Now she shares that she has her doctorate, and normally she holds that back because she doesn't want to come off like she's bragging. And I'm sure she doesn't want to intimidate anybody, although she didn't say that. But he said, it was his preference to have someone who's educated. It's just weird to me that she had all these qualities that you like, but whatever.
Yeah, again, I don't understand these older people. That's why I was like, I'm not again, I'm not that age yet. I can't say what I'm gonna do when I get there. I just don't think I'd be that person.
Yeah. So then he told her that he's a homebody, and she really wasn't feeling that. Now he said, looking the way you do, wherever you go, I want to go. Anybody would, sir. But yeah, so basically, Anise, she said, Nate is cool, but she ain't really feeling the fact that he's a homebody, and he's not feeling the fact that she's an older woman. So this one is a no-go.
Right. Because again, she's active. She want to be out here in these streets. And I couldn't, I was like, it was so funny because when they did their first dates in episode 1 and 2, and when Nate was talking about what he was looking for, and I would literally was sitting there and I was like, why won't they pair up Nate and Anise? So I thought it was so hilarious when they came in and they actually did make them go on a date. And then when they did it, I said, okay, that's why. That's why they saw that coming.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're getting into episode 3. Be interested, not interesting. Okay. We see what's the name? Pam. She calls Logan and lets her know that she bombed the date. Okay, with Robert. And basically he called her out on it. And she said that she feels like he wasn't at and so this is when Logan gives her the advice to instead of tells her to be interested instead of trying to be interesting. And I
I
actually I could learn from that. I could learn from that.
love when she says, "Stop telling ghost stories."
Well,
I said, because I mean, yes, you're constantly talking about your exes that have passed away, and she's like, they're in the past. Leaves them there. Stop telling ghost stories.
right. And then we see basically Anise goes to tell, I'm about to butcher her name, her daughter, Duana or Dawana, please forgive me, about her date with Nate. Tells her about the flowers. Anise shares that him not being active as she would like is basically kind of a deal breaker for her. Nate is telling Jackie that he got an attractive older woman outside of his age bracket, and that's a thing for him. Anise says that he did text her, and Nate says that he doesn't know if there's a romantic connection. Dewana thinks that she should ask Nate out, and she's like, no. And I look, it's so funny because my notes say Anise says that she's a gazelle and she isn't asking a man out, but it's not above her. Okay.
But that's what all of them said. Basically, that they don't want to come off thirsty.
Right. She calls herself a multi-dimensional woman. She knows her next date is gonna be with a white man. And can I tell you, I like this white man. But anyway, so they reminisce on her chastising Dewana for being in love with a little white boy, and that made her change her opinions on interracial dating and realize that love is love. And I thought that was a cute, like, full
I love
circle
that he
moment.
told her that he only dates black women, and she was like, "So was it uncomfortable?" He said, "Well, no,
Because
since
this is all I date, right?
hell."
He's like, this is what I do.
And the accent, whew, now,
Oh,
now,
for me, I would for an accent. Give me a good English, give me a good Australian. I'm done.
yeah, oh,
You ain't even gotta do that. Give me a good South African, and I'll be good. I love it.
yeah.
Um, then we see Suzanne. She's hanging out with her family. She tells them about her dates. She's liking her choices, but she says she doesn't want to be a nurse or a purse. And I said, "You better." She said, I ain't nobody's sugar mama, and I ain't about to be nobody's nurse.
That's what she said.
She said, I don't
I
want to be
get
anybody's
that.
nurse or purse. I said, because they
Period.
realized she got that bag.
Exactly.
And she says she's feeling Avery, but she's not feeling the whole Alabama fan thing, of course.
And I think she felt like he was moving a little too fast.
Well, that comes,
Mm.
So Pam calls Logan before going on her second first date. She knows that she needs to talk less and leave the past in the past, as Nell said, no ghost stories. So Pam gets hooked up with Paul, who's 62. He's never been married and had no kids. They connect on both enjoying the rain, and loving Seattle. I was gonna say it never rains in Southern California, but we all learned that was a lie. So both had parents that were in the military. She talks about feeling uncomfortable about not working after being in flight for so long. Like I told y'all, this is a thing amongst the retirees. He shares that he's a singer-songwriter. And talks about performing at open mic nights in her neighborhood. Um, Paul seems to like her and says that he likes the pats that she keeps giving him. Pam admits that she likes him as well, and Pam asks Paul if he's willing to go on a second date, and he asks for her number. She kisses him on her way out, which he's a little surprised by as well. And Paul says that if she's down, he's down. And so she calls Logan and lets her know the date went well. And Pam says she looks forward to looking to tomorrow instead of thinking about yesterday. And I said, you better, girl. I like me some Pam.
Wait, who's the one? Who's the one that she asked if he would hire her?
Oh, that was Dwight. We're going to get into him, the black man.
I said, did she go out on this day and be like, I need a job?
She said retirement was getting to her.
And she got it. She got it. She got a job.
So then we meet Lori. All right. Lori's up here in the corner with the glasses, the cute little glasses with the blonde hair or the blonde cut.
I like Lori, but she was a lot. She reminded me of somebody too. I ain't gonna say no names. I know who she reminded me of.
Oh, we can talk about that offline. So She's 57. She's been married and she's divorced with 2 kids. She's a boss in Atlanta. She's known as Rich Auntie Lori. Okay. She says she hates dating but wants to be in love so bad. Lori says that she wants someone to share her dreams and aspirations with. Then we meet her daughter Kennedy. Um, and we see her stylist. They're helping her get ready for an event. And she basically wants somebody that can deal with like her career. And so Kennedy says she needs someone that knows themselves outside of her. She likes some guy named Felton, is what my notes say, but thinks that she's in the friend zone and hopes Logan can help her navigate out of it. And this how men be playing on your head top. This how men's be playing on your head top, because he absolutely played on her head top. But we're gonna get into that. Um,
Felton gives me,
and it made me so mad because yes, you can have friends, but the things that he did for her, I understand why she absolutely was like, does he like me? Does he?
he wants to get to the parties. He want to go to the parties.
Okay, so
But
Lori's
Felton
I didn't even think about that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Felton gives me, he living that Atlanta life.
So Lori's son Sean thinks that his mom needs a dating coach because she has such a big personality. And I love that me and Nels literally had this conversation the other day. She was burning her mahogany teak wood because to fill the home with a scent of a man in hopes that a man will come in there. Okay.
She knew what to do to bring the energy. Okay.
Right. So Logan talks to Lori about her career. She's a student engagement coach, during the day hours. And that's her sole purpose in life. She loves working with kids. But she says her rich auntie Lori thing, she does that about 3 times a week. And then she asks about the family and does she have a good relationship with both her kids? And she's like, yeah, they cool, whatever. But I feel like the kids, they like their mama, but they like, she's a bit much, as Nels would say. So she's hoping to find a best friend. And so Logan is like, well, do you put yourself in the friend zone? And she can't really answer that question. And then Logan gets on her glasses and says, well, they're cute, but it's almost like you use them as a mask. And basically, Lori says she ain't taking off them glasses. She ain't changing it. Her glasses are a statement piece. Okay.
Speaking of Felton, okay, with her being in the friend zone, these messages talking about I miss you and all this other stuff.
Bless you.
Yeah, he was that. Excuse me, thank you.
He was playing in her face.
Yeah, he was for sure.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, it might have been to get to the parties, but that's why I said I'm not mad at her for feeling the way she felt, because it was kind of like he was leading her on.
So I'm glad she actually came out and said something like, is this what it is?
Right. So Logan basically tells her that she wants to see a softer side of her. Lori talks to her son and asks if he would date her. And he said he wouldn't because she's too dominant, but he understands why she is. And so Lori realizes that basically she needs to bring out her soft girl era. She needs to fall into it. Okay. And then we see Nate at his house and all his idiosyncrasies. He doesn't want to change anything about his life. He likes the way his life works as is. And he's going on another first date. And this time it's going to be with good old Lisa. Okay. And we'll get into Lisa in episode 4. Then we see Suzanne. She done called Avery and asked him out on another date and brings up that Georgia is playing. And so he suggests incorporating that into their plans. And she definitely plans. Yeah. And then we see Anise preparing for her next date with Bill, who's 55. He's been divorced twice. He's been single for 2 years. And I understand why he ain't been single that long. He has 2 kids and he's a tech startup CEO. All right. They go to a wine shop and have wine and caviar. I would have passed on the caviar, but I damn sure would have drunk the wine. Okay. Anise was taken aback that he was English, but thinks that he's very well put together. Bill thinks that she's as well. Okay. And she asked what his tradition or what traditions he's kept from home. He brings up how, and I didn't realize this, and this is why I got this in my note. He brings up how tiki marsala is the #1 dish in England.
I didn't know tikka masala was
either. I would have thought it was. I would have thought it was fish and chips. That's what I thought he was about to say.
I mean, I love Indian.
Right.
And listen, when he said it, I completely understand. Bill, we connect on something. I'm just saying.
And they both enjoy spice. That's where Bill would have lost me. They both enjoy spice. I don't. And then she asked him his thoughts about them setting him up with a black woman. And basically he says he only, dates black women. So then we get into episode 4, which is called It's a Vibe. And so she's trying to dig deeper, and he tells her his kids are biracial. He thinks black women have a high level of energy and passion. When I tell you that did something to me.
Let me tell you something. Bill did something to me. Okay.
Okay.
Bill, let me tell you something. And listen, this is so
Look, I
bad.
said, Bill, you ain't no science guy, but boy.
Not Bill Nye. Girl, listen. I mean, I love me some Willie too. But girl, since Bill came
Bill,
first,
between Bill and Willie, that was it.
You said what?
Bill and Willie was it. The sad part is Bill was the one that was like, it wasn't because she liked Bill. She liked Bill. It was him.
She liked Bill, but you know what? It was, I think for him, it was also like a turn off all the. So I mean, are you okay? Like with, or how was it? Like, and he's just like, she's never dated a white
Yeah,
man.
he doesn't want to do. He's not trying to do a trial like a first time.
Exactly. So I completely understand. I mean, listen, I don't have all that. I ain't got all them questions.
I don't. I would learn to adjust real quick, Bill.
Exactly.
So basically, she's like, "Well, can you match that passion?" And he said, "And can, and can." So
and
she,
look, I got
okay,
kids, Pookie, and
so,
did.
right, and she admits that she's never been in an interracial relationship. Bill said that was a red flag to him. Anise says she feels delighted and is enjoying wine and Bill. And Bill said that the instant attraction just wasn't there for him. And I said, well, so then we see Lori preparing for her date. They ask, the kids if she's easy to date. And Kennedy's like, well, my mom is real unique. Okay. So they pair her up with Ty, who's 59, divorced. He's been single for 7 years. He got 3 kids, and he's an investor and an entrepreneur. Now Lori is already thinking on how she can upgrade him because he had worn a white shirt that she could see. And that really, I'm not going to hold you. I thought of you. Because I wouldn't have noticed the white shirt. I wouldn't have. And the fact that she was so particular, no, I said that gives me nails. Because I wouldn't have noticed.
I thought it was funny that she noticed it on him, but said it was great on Felton.
Well, because the way Felton did it, it was
You
different.
sound like her because of the way Felton did it.
No, he did. Only because she pointed it out, and then I literally took a point to like look at Felton, and I was like, okay, I get it. I get it now. So basically she asked how his dating life has been. And he said he's been buried in work. They both connect because they both like intellect. She points out that he noticed her pedicure, and he kind of hints to that he may have a foot fetish.
Yeah.
And so she's firing off questions and points out that he's not looking at her. And he says that like that just kind of makes him nervous. So Ty likes the fact that she's grilling him, and he wants a second date, and Lori actually agrees.
I think he like made a joke or something. She's just like, oh,
right.
No. That might have been the church guy.
Right.
She was like, where are you? And he was like, well, I'm here with you or something.
Right. That was the church guy. So she tells him to suggest a date, and he says bird watching. I ain't even gonna hold you, Lori. That would have been check, please.
Because you scared of birds.
Right. Check.
So when you do that, do you go to like somewhere specific where there's certain type of birds?
No, I think you just go with binoculars and you go to like a national park, and I'm sure there's different birds, but that's why it's bird watching, because you're looking for the different birds. That's why and first of all, I don't like birds like that. So that's why none of that is interesting to me. Do y'all see my pop-up Christmas tree in the back? Because that's how much I don't care about bird watching. But anyway, so just to add a little feel of Christmas to the studio.
A little flair.
A little flair, a little pa pa pa, pa pa pa. So no, yeah, I wasn't into him either. I definitely would. Me personally, I don't like feet. If somebody else can appreciate my feet, I'm not mad at it, but I'm not. I
You're
don't
not
like.
Supposed to.
I don't like. No, but I don't like my own feet. Like I don't.
You're not supposed to understand it either.
But I don't want you on my feet because I don't like feet.
I don't understand it. I just
no, like the only person's feet that I like is my baby's feet. That was the first time I ever liked feet. I like my child's feet. And now I'm starting to quit now because he getting older and they starting to smell and it ain't cute no more like when he was a baby. But but I don't like feet. So I don't want anyone else to be on my feet like that. Like maybe every 6 months you can suck a toe, but I'm not really not into that. I'm really not into that.
I started to say something, but you would
I
have to
mean, don't
edit.
get me.
So I'm gonna leave it alone.
Um, so they exchanged number and then they realized that they already got each other's number. His number's already in her phone because they matched on Plenty of Fish. But
What is
now she wants to know
saying?
why they stopped talking.
Like, you ghosted me.
Right. But she said she doesn't know what's going on, but she liked the vibe. So she's all in. What'd you think about good old what's his name? Ty.
I mean, I let him kiss a toe.
You terrible.
I'm like, so you like
No,
feet?
I can't even talk about feet without getting
Look,
grossed out.
Trace, so you like feet, huh?
And then not you have long toes too. That'd be worse.
I
Um,
got long toes.
I know you don't. I'm just saying the way you
Oh,
with your fingers, that's
I just
not.
no, well, because I didn't want to put my feet in the camera, but you get what I'm saying.
You have decent feet. Even still, I don't really like feet, but I will say nails has decent feet. So Nate is linked up with Lisa, who's 56. She's been single for 2 years. She's divorced with 2 kids. Lisa was a baddie, okay? She's an esthetician, you could tell, because her skin was. She needed to go help Zaria over on Love After Lockup and Mia on Real Housewives of Potomac. So Nate likes what he sees and presents her with flowers. She likes the fact that he likes the fact that they both like to look good. Apparently, they both have 2 kids. He talks about making his kids figure it out on their own. Elisa shares that both her kids live with her. Why does she say that? So she admits that she's a little too soft, and she hopes that he can help her. Now, this is when I said Lisa. The pick me energy. You are too pretty to be given this pick me energy. Because when she said, I'm hoping that you can come in and make my kids more independent, nigga, you don't know my children. If I decided to let them live here, then I guess I'll come over your house and see you. But what we're not about to do is think that now you just because you want your kid. I'm sorry. I was like, girl, you better stop. I'm not, I'm gonna hold you. Just the fact that she said that to me, I wasn't surprised that he immediately was like, and not because of the reasons that I'm disgusted, because I'm disgusted that you just met this man and you're ready to let him come in and change your whole life. And it's literally a first date. But as for him, I may not agree with the way you live in your life, but the fact that you're ready to change your life and this is a first date and you're like, oh, maybe you can help me with that, that would have been unattractive to me as a male personally. If a man said that to me and was like, oh, my daughter still live in my house and maybe you could come, so you want me to be an evil stepmom? No, I'm good. I'm good. If that's some shit you trying to do, that's on your own, but I ain't got it. I ain't got it. So he shares his story about being hurt while in the military, how it hurts to see his friends that surpassed him in his military career. And she brings up the lighter side of how everything happens for a reason. And then of course they talk about his dimples, which we ain't seen for real. Lisa says that she brought her phone so they could do selfies. So he likes this because they
That
both
shocked
are
the crap out of me because remember
right,
in the first date he brought it up and she thought it was weird, and then
right.
she was the one that brought it up, and I think he was taken aback by it. So he was like, "Okay, yeah, you did. We can do a selfie."
But they both feel like the date just flew by. She said that she sees potential. And Nate calls Logan to tell her about the date and raves about his date with Lisa, but said that he plans to see that he wants to wait till the process is done before he sees her again. So he's gonna put her on pause. And it gave me what she said about Suzanne. He's a maximizer. He just wanted to get as many dates as possible. And I'm not mad at that, but I felt like he had genuine connections and he fucked it up because he was just too busy trying to be out here in these streets. And that's why I don't like him. Anyway, so then Pam meets up with
Well,
Logan and
you know what it made me think?
what?
That these were good enough women, not dream girl women.
Okay.
Because
So
you're not gonna put the dream girl on hold, on pause.
No, but he always gave me the vibe because of who he is. He was looking for perfection. So I think she mentioned that later on. So he was going to keep going out as long as she was going to give him another date.
We don't even know if she's freaking messy like the other chick. Like he was talking about Michelle. And she got 2 grown kids at home. I bet you they messy as hell.
Well, Pam meets up with Logan and they talk about her second date. She really liked her date with Paul. And Logan tries to express that she puts up a wall, apparently out of fear of getting hurt. So then we see Suzanne, or no, and then so Zoe's granddaughter, apparently Pam is having hesitation about reaching out to Paul. And so her granddaughter is talking to her and it's like, well, why? And she's like, because he's been blowing me off. And she thinks that Paul should reach out. She doesn't want to chase him, to Nels' point. And Pam, she's like, I ain't trying to stalk him. And so she tells her that if, reach out to him. If he says anything crazy or ignores you, then you can block him. And so then they go to stalk his TikTok and realize that he's not the best singer. So then we see Suzanne, who was invited Avery to the Georgia football game. She likes that Avery is fun and charming and thinks that they have chemistry. They seem to have a good time at the game. He tells her he's turned on by her. This is when things start going a little too. And he talks about how he would never have a threesome because he doesn't want to share her because he likes her. Okay. And then they agree that, they're going to get together again. Okay. And then Anise talks about goes on details about her date. She talks about was it Bill from England, and says that she would see him again, but understands why he may have put a pause, because she's never been in an interracial relationship. So I like the fact that she's self-aware and she could realize that, like, okay, um, Logan arrives and asks about the date. She basically tells Anise she needs to open up. She's like, I've met with you. This is probably the third time now, and you still feel very closed off. Now her daughter disagrees. And Anise finally comes out and says, like, yeah, she has a tough exterior because she's always had to be strong after losing the love of her life. Again, we don't even talk about the other 2 husbands. And so she feels like, because I just think it's weird.
Who are they?
Right. Like, did you just marry them just to marry them? Because
they didn't level. Sorry.
They didn't matter, clearly. And so I love to see her daughter, Dwana, tell her mother she honors her journey and that obviously means something to her. And so basically Logan tells her people can respect you when you're as real as they are. And I did like that. I thought that was good advice. So I'm about to cut this off and then we're going to go into the next 4 episodes, y'all. So if you haven't already, y'all go ahead and migrate over to episodes 4 through 8 if you haven't watched it. But we're going to take a quick little, I don't want to say commercial break, but I'm going to break
Intermission.
it off. Intermission. So y'all not sitting here watching 2 hours of us up here talking about the never. I said the never. The later. I want to say never met so bad. But anyway, y'all. So yeah, if you haven't already, please make sure y'all go hit that like button.
Make sure you comment.
Make sure that you guys are subscribed.
And hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms, the TikTok, the BlueSky, the IG, and the Facebook, y'all. And yeah, catch us for part 4 through 8. Coming up soon, y'all, for the later daters. I had to think about it before I said it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.